Daniel 5:11-12. There is a man in your kingdom, in whom is the spirit of the holy God. And in the days of your father, light and understanding and wisdom like the wisdom of the gods were found in him. And King Nebuchadnezzar, your father the king, made him chief of the magicians, astrologers, Chaldeans, the soothsayers. Verse 12, inasmuch as an excellent spirit, knowledge, understanding, interpretation of dreams, solving of riddles, and explaining enigmas were found in Daniel, whom the king named Belteshazzar. Now let Daniel be called and give the interpretation. So I'm going to be titling what I'll be saying this morning, how to be the indispensable partner, or how to be the indispensable spouse. So if you are married, you would write it as how to be the indispensable spouse. If you are single, you are going to write it as how to be the indispensable partner. The first thing that made Daniel indispensable, that was mentioned here, that made him relevant across 4 different kings, the reign of 4 different kings, was light. And when Pastor was talking earlier, he said light was illumination. And if you will be relevant to anybody, in fact, you have to start being relevant to yourself before you can be relevant to another person, because charity begins from home. If your gospel doesn't sell to yourself, don't bother to export it. So if you are not of benefit, of use, of value to yourself, you don't have value to offer anybody. So whether it is to you or to another person, the first thing you need to be relevant, the first thing you need to be indispensable is light. And Pastor, when talking, said light is illumination. And what is light? Your light is your relationship with God, your knowledge of God. The Bible said God is light and in him there is no darkness. God is light and in him there is no darkness. So if you will be relevant to anybody, the first person you need to have a good relationship with is God. Why do you need a good relationship with God? Because it is only God that can tell you your true worth. It is only God that can tell you your true worth. No matter what anybody tells you, it is just a bit of who God made you to be. For instance, if you were not told by either directly by the manufacturer or through the manual that the manufacturer added into this, you might not know it's a speaker. If it is raised, somebody can sit on it and just assume that, oh, this is a seat. The fact that it's able to carry your weight doesn't mean it's not being abused. And the abuse stems from the fact that you don't know what it's meant for. In relationship, you need to know who you are and what relationship is meant for before you decide to go into relationship. Many people enter depression. Many people commit suicide when negative words are spoken to them or about them because they don't know who they are. No man or woman can tell you, you are useless, you don't amount to anything. I'm just managing you. You can't manage me. Of everything God created, he said, I'm the most beautiful, I'm the best of his creation. When he was creating, first day, it was good. Second day, it was good. Third day, when he got to the 6th day, he said, behold, it was very good. And the Bible said, let God be true and man be a liar. So if God said, I'm very good, you can't tell me I'm useless. Your opinion came in too late. And when I know who I am, it's just like, oh, he's sitting in front of me now. His name is Mr. Larry Olaleye. Let me, Suraju. He will never answer. Let it be the president calling him. Because his name and identity is not Suraju. Many people are answering the name and identity that is not theirs because they don't even know who they are. And it's high time you discover who you are in the light of the knowledge of God, so that nobody can bamboozle you. Then when you are entering a relationship, you will be able to also rub off that confidence. If there will be any esteem issue as a Christian, it shouldn't be low self-esteem. If there's anything you need to work on, I believe it should be over-bloated esteem. That you know who you are too much, that arrogance to fame war. That should be the problem. Where they say, uncle, small. Not that you will be living like a rat. You need illumination. Oh, you are expecting somebody to come and propose, and the person left you and went for your friend, and you are feeling down. No, life is difficult for the blind. If you know who you are not going to feel intimidated. The Bible said, no good thing will God withhold from them that walk uprightly. If that person is being withheld from me, the person is not good enough for me. Because the fact that something is good doesn't mean it's your own. Oh, tuwo shinkafa is good. Not everybody knows how to eat it. So why are you a 3-course meal trying to beg yourself to be accepted as tuwo shinkafa? Know who you are. Have illumination. First about who you are. Then secondly about the meaning and the purpose of relationship. So that you'll be able to ask yourself, am I actually ready for relationship? Because relationship readiness is not only traceable to chronological age. Maturity is not only limited to chronological age. There are some babies trapped in the body of 25-year-old men or 25-year-old women. It is when you are relating with them that you will see that it's all body, no engine. So you need illumination. Let God show you to you. Then let God show relationship to you. So that you will know that, for instance, the Bible said, 2 are better than 1. Meaning that relationship is supposed to make me better. I should be better off for entering relationship, not worse off. In my culture, they will say, if the oracle cannot make my life better, it should leave me the way it met me, not bringing me to the level of depreciation. Any relationship that you're already counting 6 months, you can't trace any positivity to your life as a result of the entrance of that person. You are not in a relationship. You've only carried a weight. You have only carried a weight. How many minutes did the daughter of the prince of Media, Zipporah, met Moses and everything turned around? It turned so much that when she got home, the father was saying, you came so early today. What happened? Illumination. And when I'm talking about betterment, don't always think in your head that it has to do with money. There are enough things that are more valuable than money in life. Because the rich also cry. Some people will say, it's better to cry behind the AC Jeep than to cry. It's better not to cry at all. Why do you want to pick crying in a Jeep than having a blissful experience? Do you hate yourself that much? Many people don't even realize that it's worse to cry in a Jeep, because when you need them, people will not help you. They will think you are mocking them. But they are you the way you are. You mean you know? Just stop. Till the person dies. So don't say you want to cry inside the Jeep. You don't want to cry at all. You don't have 2 lives. Don't play experiments with the only one you have. It's either it's the right thing or it's nothing at all. So he had light. Go for light in your relationship with God. Go for light in how a human relationship should be. The second thing that was found in Daniel was understanding. Understanding. When Pastor was talking, he called understanding insight. And what is understanding about when it comes to insight? You need to know where somebody is coming from. Everybody you see is a combination of their past, their present, and their future. Many times we relate with the present, then we want to join hands to forecast what the future will be. You've forgotten that they are first coming from somewhere. And where they are coming from has formed some things regarding their beliefs and regarding their expectations. And sometimes when people react, you are thinking they are reacting to what is happening now. But the reaction is coming from some people 10 years ago, some people 15 years ago, some people. So you need understanding. Let's break it literally. What is understanding? The thing under what is standing. If the relationship is standing, the thing under what is standing, you want the relationship to stand. What do you need to know that is under? For every relationship that didn't work out, there was something under that you did not pick. In my culture, they will say the mistletoe that is dancing on the surface of the water, the drummer is inside the deep. There are some things I will never agree to because of where I'm coming from. Do I believe in God? Yes. Do I believe in faith? Yes. But the horrors of my realities are so excruciating that I've not totally gotten over it yet. Does it mean that the person is terrible? It doesn't mean the person is terrible. Everybody's past is just their past. And if you don't understand some things about them, you will react. You will react. For instance, my immediate younger brother was a sickle cell anemia patient. There was nothing we did not do. Nothing. We lived far below what our parents were capable of affording because of his health. I could remember times on times that he would be writing an exam from the hospital bed. They would send an invigilator or an examiner. The person would just be asking him verbally and be writing it down. Thank God that all the schools he went to, my mom was a staff of the higher school, the College of Education. So the nursery arm and the secondary arm, they know her. And the health center knows him very well as a regular customer. To the point of WAEC, he was carried in an ambulance from the hospital to the WAEC center. The invigilator was asking verbally and writing down. With everything we did, he still died at 28. Graduated well ahead. He didn't get anybody to marry him because he was a sickle cell anemia patient. Ladies will collect his money and go. And I see him get emotionally brutalized so many times. He was working, he was earning before he died. So if somebody comes to me now as a pastor, do I believe in God? Yes. Do I believe in faith? Yes. Oh, I am AS. You are AS. We want to marry. Mommy, can we marry? I will tell you, it's your decision, but count me out. But we believe God can do it. Let God do it before you marry. If you believe he can do it, don't let him wait until after marriage. Or the just shall live by his own faith. If your own faith can carry it, God will not deny you. But don't wait on my faith because I don't have when it comes to that one. Then somebody will say, but you are supposed to be a pastor. It's my past. And there are people like that. There are some things that the trauma is so fresh. And what made the trauma so fresh with me, apart from the fact that he passed on the day I was naming my first daughter. Passed on the day we were naming Olabode, June 12. So I cannot get it out of my head. So any of my children cannot wake up tomorrow now and tell me, Mommy, I'm bringing, I say, look, if you don't want me to swear for you. And you'll be wondering, why is Mommy reacting like this? I'm coming from somewhere. Understand. Why am I standing on that point that you can't marry this person? What is under is what you need to know. Sometimes your man will act in certain ways. Your woman will act in certain ways. Before you react, go and find out, investigate what is under that reaction. Investigate what is under that reaction. Many times people will not tell you why they are doing what they are doing. You will just see that eruption. Anytime I talk to my partner about money, he's always grumpy. You knew he said they've not paid salary in 3 months. Do you want him to steal? So it's not that he's grumpy. Grumpy is the reaction. What is underneath it? The lack of cash to fund what you are requesting. So if you will be indispensable, you need understanding. Daniel was not born in that land. He was carried as a slave to that land. But there were some things he understood. He understood it so much that even when he was interpreting some dream to the king, he told the king, this one that I saw on the wall that you say I should interpret is for your enemies, not for you. Because he knows that you dare not tell a negative thing to the king, your head will go off your neck. But what he was supposed to interpret was negative. And he cannot lie that God did not say what God said. Mene, mene, tekel, or person. He could not say that God did not say what God said. So understanding made him to say, oh king, this one is for your enemy, not for you. Especially when the person you are with is a good person. When a good person begins to behave in ways that does not add up, you want to find out what is under before you react. Some of them are even too ashamed to tell you what is under. In a family where there are 5 girls, and the dad is late, so 5 girls plus their mom, they are already 6. You are now saying that she doesn't know how to behave around a man. Does she have a man figure in her life? Either as a brother or as a father. Everything she knew, ladies taught her either in form of her mom or in form of her sisters. So when you have certain expectations as a man that she should behave like this, me being the man, and she didn't behave like that, before you react, think back. She's standing on the fact that there was no male figure in her life. So if you will be indispensable, you need, and that is why you need to ask questions. All these stupid things we ask ourselves when we are dating. Have you eaten? How was your day? Hope nobody got you angry. How does that change anything? How does that change anything? You need to ask critical questions that will give you insight into the mind of the other person. And please, when you are asking questions, in my line or in my field, we ask open-ended questions. Most of you ask close-ended questions. What are close-ended questions? The answer will always be either yes or no. You don't know anything by asking a close-ended question. If, did you cheat on me? Then he now answers, no. You don't know whether he didn't get the opportunity or he cannot afford it. So by saying no, you will be thinking you are safe, not knowing that it's not that he doesn't want to do it. The opportunity the lady is stripping for did not agree or he cannot afford that. But by the time you are asking questions that are open-ended, like, why do you choose to live a pious life? Or under what conditions can you be tempted to cheat on me? Then you will hear answers. Because let me tell you one truth. Everybody has their breaking point too. And you might want to ask, under what condition can this happen? I can tell you in my marriage, if I jackpot today to go and re-education, whatever post, whatever I go for, anything that makes me leave my husband for more than a year, something will happen. Even me, I know. Because it doesn't do long distance relationship. So we have a mutual understanding. My first degree, Nigeria. In fact, then we were living in Oyo State. My first degree, Ogbomosho. Second degree, Ogbomosho. Third degree, PhD, Ogbomosho. Now that we are in Lagos, every other degree, I have about 5 other degrees now, in addition to those ones. They were online. University online, I do it in the comfort of my house. I still collected another certificate 2 weeks ago as an infidelity recovery counselor. In the comfort of my house. I paid in dollars. Why? Understanding. I know the kind of person. Because the way he is, if his English doesn't attract you, or his looks doesn't attract you, the fatherly side of him that meets needs will attract you. So rather than tempt the Lord my God, and that is why men see. And some people, instead of having that understanding, when your spouse tells you, oh, you cannot go and school abroad, or you cannot pick up the job in this particular state, he doesn't want me to progress. Enemy of progress. Nobody's saying you should not progress. But some things can be altered a bit. Oh, I was intending that I'm going to go to Unilag for this course, and I live in Oyo State. Instead of going to Unilag, let me do it at UI. Unilag is for the government, federal government. UI2 is for the government. It's only the name of the school that will change. I will still collect based on the understanding of the kind of person. And as it applies to the man, it applies to the woman too. There are some things you will not do because of the understanding of your woman. You know that she has been brutalized several times, disappointed and hurt by several kinds of men in question. I mean, in quotes. Wolves in sheep's clothing. And because you know that when she told you that story, most of the people that took our men from her then came in as school daughters, mentees and things like that. Then you should know that understanding would demand that you don't get too close with a female figure and come back and say she's just a mentee. You will be taking her down the memory lane. And the reaction that will be coming, you will be thinking, you don't trust me. No, it's not that she doesn't trust you. The trauma of the past, your action is bringing it to the surface. You should be the type that will not even be shaking women. Oh, God bless you from a distance. Just to help her mindset. Because you understand where she's coming from. Daniel was indispensable because Daniel had understanding. The lady was duped. All the men collected money from her and they didn't marry her. You are now in her life. You are the one that is always asking for quick 2K. You don't have understanding. But even if your quick 2K is genuine, it will make her start beginning to compare you with where she's coming from. And suspicions will come in. Then the third thing they said Daniel had was the wisdom of the gods. And wisdom of the gods has to do with the divine revelation of how to run a relationship. Knowledge means you acquired information. Wisdom means knowing the appropriate time and way to apply the information you have. Because the fact that you are given the information doesn't mean it will work for everybody equally. Our personalities are different. Even when it's wrong, it's a choleric to the bone. There's a way I can't talk to him. Otherwise, the game will change. Power will change hands. Me that was originally in the right will become the one in the wrong. From day one, say, I can tolerate anything except disrespect. So even when the eyes of the lion is bleeding, when I'm having it at the grade of annoyance, there are some words I cannot use. But there are some other people that you will need to shout it to get it into their ears. If you are dating, for instance, maybe a sanguine, most times sanguine can be given to procrastination. They will say, I will do this, and they will be shifting. So you might need to be on their neck and be repeating it and be repeating it, and sometimes following up to ensure they do it. If you do that with a choleric, you will land in trouble. Because a choleric will tell you, when the first time you told me, did I sound deaf to you? Or do I look irresponsible that when I said I would do it, I won't do it? So why are you nagging? So what you are trying to see them push through, they will, for a sanguine, for a choleric is nagging. So it takes wisdom to manage people. Wisdom of the gods. Such that sometimes in marriage, they will be relinquishing power. They won't know they've relinquished it. You know what you want to do. You will now place it as a suggestion. You will now give him reasons that will make you make a decision that would be what you would have done. Yeah, we have 50,000 in the house. Sir, what do you think we should do with this 50,000? We are supposed to pay school fees. We are supposed to maybe buy a shabi. We are supposed to maybe pay this outstanding. But the outstanding will be due in 3 months. The ashwabi, they pick color blue. I remember that we have a shade of blue for this and this person's wedding that we went 3 months ago. The children will be starting their CA in 2 weeks' time. And they said if they don't bring their tellers, they will not sit for the exam. You know that you want to use the 50,000 to pay school fees. But you now said, what should we do? You now gave him the options. What will he pick? He would not be feeling that he was the one that made the decision, whereas you made the decision. Wisdom. He had the wisdom of the gods. And you need to apply wisdom. There are some people that are very difficult to work with. There is wisdom. But she's my mate, or it's my mate. How can I be using for? There was a relationship that almost broke up because the guy was saying the lady wasn't using for him. Because where he came from, even if you use a day to be older than a person, they use for themselves. When the lady was talking to me, that around nonsense, I said, wait. I said, the does it take anything from you? Does it reduce you? Does it increase you? Did your certificate disappear because you used the Apart from this issue, is there any other issue that he has that is stressing you? She said no. I said, so why will you lose a good man because of What if you sue? Wisdom. So when he's around his colleagues and all of them are calling their partners by name, she will even psych him. She will even, before he knows it, the other one will say, see how respectful this person is. When they are going to attack, I'm so proud of you. What do you want? What's jello? Wisdom of the gods. There is a wisdom. For every relationship that some people worked out of, some other people come in and they are able to manage it appropriately. Because there is a particular wisdom required to manage each person. And if you have that wisdom, it will work. I think one of the most violent presidents we have in the world for now is still the president of North Korea. As difficult as that man is, they said is so bad that in elongated meetings, they can be having meetings up to 24 hours, that if you dose as one of his generals, you are facing the firing squad. It's not any... You made his clothes, you have errors, you are dead. Is that kind of person. But this same person has had a relationship for over 80 years, as at the last time I checked. How was the woman coping? How come she's not dead? There's a wisdom. And they are not even married yet. So you can't say it's because they are married, she didn't want to divorce. She's his living girlfriend. And she's been there for over 80 years. That means there is something she knows that even some generals don't know. I'm not saying you should go and be somebody's living girlfriend, though. They are not Christians in North Korea, at least for now. They don't even allow you to bring in the Bible yet. Then, another thing that was found in him, according to the scripture, was an excellent spirit. What is an excellent spirit? Doing common things in uncommon way. Being creative, being innovative. You want to be indispensable. Always have a touch of awe to whatever you are doing. So I want to serve maybe rice, stew, plantain. And I put the rice on the plate, put the stew and meat, and put the plantain. I've served. Then I now picked another plate, and I just look for maybe a small disposable plate, like the ones they used to sell coleslaw. And I put the rice, press it to make it form a shape, and I put it on the plate. Then on the side, I put the stew, and I use the plantain to either form love shape or whatever. It's still rice, plantain, and meat. But one will make a better impact than the other. What's the difference? Innovation. Just small tweak. Just a small tweak. Oh, man. So, she's been saying she wants a wristwatch. So you bought her the wristwatch. Tinuke, bah. You are not being excellent about it. So you wrap this thing and you put it where she can easily see it. Then you drop a note. Oh, Tinuke, can you kindly pick up this at this place? Then when she gets there, oh, that's a good try. You are closer to what? Then you move. The expectation is high. So, what is it? Oh, you're almost there. You're almost there. And when she gets to this particular point, she picks another note. When she gets to this particular point, she picks another note. And that is for people. I will quickly revert back to wisdom. That is for people that like surprises. For people that don't like surprises, you can still be creative about it. Being creative about it for people that don't like surprises is not to raise their expectation. Is to, rather than telling them, bah, you put it where they will see it. So you know that every morning she will go to the dressing table. So before she wakes up, you keep it at the dressing table. And, it's a wristwatch. And you just like the time is told by the wristwatch. Oh, my times and seasons are made beautiful by you. You just... Have you given the wristwatch? Yes. What's the difference between you and who said Tinukegba? And the person that... Just a little tweak. Excellence. Just a little tweak. I have 3 minutes left. Excellence, little things. Little things. Another form of excellence is doing things without being told. Being able to pick a need without being told. Don't wait for your girlfriend to tell you she's broke. If you know that she's the type that she likes alcohol, and the person that likes alcohol has been carrying one ear for 6 weeks, you know she's broke. Don't wait for her to beg you. Even if all you can afford is the money for a relaxer, to retouch and set. Whatever the name is. Take this 3,000 naira. Get a relaxer and set your hair. The fact that she didn't need to ask you for you to know. Or maybe you know that this gentleman has an exam to write. Maybe a final year exam or whatever. Or he has a project to finish. He has a project to finish. And there hasn't been electricity. Maybe something happened to the school light or whatever. And you are going there, your 4-liter petrol. That I just heard that you are better past my neighbor, might need this to work overnight. It will not recover. It will look like the 4-liter might not be up to 5,000 naira or maybe exactly 5,000 naira. But the way it will be reiterating what you did, one will not believe that it's 5,000 naira. One of the things that made pastor cancel some prospect off his list was battery. You will not believe it. Finger battery. Then he was our fellowship president. I live in the main building, he lives in the BQ. There was no light for a long time. The transformer had an issue. And I know that he prepares for services overnight into the morning. So I went out, as I was just coming back, I said, this man, we always listen to messages of his father alongside the Bible study when he's preparing for service. And because there's no electricity, the battery he's using is likely to be getting weak. It's not likely to take him over the night. And I just bought finger battery, only 4. So when I was just going to my distance, I just was, we call him Cornell then. So as I was just Cornell, I just felt that this battery might be useful. The look on his face, on top battery. On top of battery. The lady is left. The father can buy him a transformer. It was not when this japa is a common thing. It is when big boys japa. Our dad had been overseas for over 20 years. Wealthy and co. The difference between me and the lady was just that touch of excellence. Little things. And what does those things do? It keeps you in the mind of that person. My time is up, but let me just add one more. Another thing he had is the ability to interpret dreams. It was relevant because he had ability to interpret dreams. When you are in somebody's life, one of your purpose, one of your reasons for being in that person's life is to give them a push, to be a catalyst to them fulfilling their God-ordained destiny. Everything should not be all about you. What victories would they remember and will trace your contribution to? So somebody told you, I want to do I can. When you were dating, or when you started dating. The guy told you, I want to do I can, when you started dating. And now you've been dating for 5 years. You are not a valuable woman in that man's life. Or the lady told you, I want to do my master's. You've been dating for 5 years. She has not even collected. She hasn't even gone to collect her certificate in the university. A graduation certificate. Talk less of enrolling for master's. Something is wrong with you. Because it is only 0 that will be added to something. And the thing will not change. If you add 0 to a figure, that is when the figure will not change. So if the person's life is the way it is, before you were there, and now you are there, and you are counting years and nothing has changed, that means you are telling people that you are 0. The value you brought to the table is 0. You should be the one when they say, Tenuka, let me go and buy you pizza. He said, the last time I checked, pizza is 25,000. That's the form for your ICANN is 100,000. Why don't we keep this? We already have 1/4 of the money. Hey, but I want to buy it for you. Maybe it's me that I want to buy it for. When you become a chartered accountant and you are earning, you will pay me with interest. When they see that you are pushing them, the better their life is getting, the more indispensable you will be to them. See, human beings are naturally selfish. No human being misses any other human being. What we miss in people is value. So if you don't contribute value, nobody will miss you. For instance, if you are the type that, oh, this gentleman gives me maybe pocket money in addition to what my parents give me, so that I can be okay for the whole month. You now traveled and you were not able to get the money to the lady when you should get the money to the lady. When they call you and say, Tunji, I miss you, it's the money that's not gotten there that they are missing. And it's the same for the man. You know that anytime the lady is around, when you get back home, hot meal is waiting for you. Then she happens to travel. Then you came back home to empty table. When you say, Tinuke, I miss you, is the absence of that delicious food that you missed. So if you want to be somebody that people cannot do without, somebody that is indispensable, you need to add value. You remember what Pastor said about a lady that was almost getting to him? The day the lady spoke to the point of saying, if it is your wife, he lost it. He lost it because he knew you can be talking to me, you can be chatting with me, you can be admiring me. What you are chatting with and admiring is the work of somebody else. And for you to lie to mention that person, you want to equate yourself to that person, get out. Because when we are crying, we can still see. You are coming for the product that somebody else developed. You are now trying to equate yourself to the manufacturer. You must be sick. And for every man that has their senses intact, even when then they play, they know those to play with and they know those to hold. Everybody stand on your feet. Let's just forget the remaining points. Let's just forget the remaining points. But always remember, if you will have an indispensable relationship, you know that Abigail, as a married woman, was already relevant to David. She was still in her husband's house at the time David fell in love with her. She was relevant to Nabal. So much so that, let's assume that he was actually a fool, like she called him. For you to be living comfortably and conveniently with a fool and not having issues, you are a wise woman. Abigail is a big girl. Then for you to now even leave that environment and meet another man and the man did not recover, despite the fact that you are a married woman and he knows, he did not recover to the intent that when he heard that her husband was dead, he didn't even allow her mourn her husband before he carries. You should know the kind of person. And there are people like that. Unforgettable people. Choose to be one of them. Choose to be one of such that when it comes to relationship, you will have enough options to pick. Everybody is considering it an honor for you to be in their space. And anybody that can't see it, walk away with your shoulders high. Walk tall. Walk tall. Don't settle for less. Anybody that is doing rubbish around you, that is making you feel like I'm doing you a favor to be in your space, kick it out. Let them carry their beetle. Your Ferrari is coming. And some people will say, what if nobody else now comes? If nobody else comes, it's better to be a happy single than a troubled double. Nobody, I've not heard it in the news that anybody died because they were single. But I've heard this severally, that people die because they married wrongly. So be alive, happy, and enjoy your money, rather than settling down for a fool. Let's now go to where we started from. When I was dating Pastor, I might not exactly be the most beautiful around him. In fact, I wasn't even in the category of the beautiful ladies around him. But I knew what I carried. So there is a level of arrogance. So, look. I had enough working class guys around me. In fact, economic wise, it was the least of the people around me. I had a consultant from teaching hospital Ife. I had the overall civil engineer for Sweet Sensations coming from Lagos to Ogbomoso. I had the one coming from Ife. So when a pastor that had no bank account is also... ask him. As at when he was proposing to me, he had no bank account. His office was an uncompleted building. The floor wasn't even plastered. Thank you. He knows. The floor wasn't even plastered. It was sand. When he proposed to me, he proposed on that dirty floor, not at Tantalizers. Not at Mr. Biggs. He couldn't even afford a ring to propose. He had to use the wayo of we were praying to propose because he knew that if he goes the normal way, it's not likely going to work. However, although he was the least likely person, because I had the illumination, when I went to pray about it, God told me, it is this one that looks like it's not eating now. And I was, God. Then my brother that was a sickle cell anemia patient was still alive. So I had to be saying, God, you know that I'm the firstborn of my family. You know that now my dad is retired and we still have Shegun to take care of that goes to hospital every week. We take blood, take water, daily medications. In between, he had stroke. That we had to start all over to teach him how to talk and how to walk. We got common at age 16. It was that bad. So I was looking at the financial responsibility. I would say, God, le mommy go to my shame now. God, I need a big boy that is rich because of not because of me, but because of the responsibility at home. That my dad was appointed. He didn't compete for any office, but they just appoint him. And when Abacha died, the next person that came in just chased everybody that was appointed. That was how he lost his job. So I knew my mother's salary was not enough for the whole family in consideration of Shegun's health. So I had to be telling God, God, you can't do this to me. When there is a consultant medical doctor, medically, Shegun's matter will be taken care of. To now say he's rich and he's from a royal family. Now, God, you can't do this to me. And there is this civil engineer. All the chains of tantalizers is the one in charge. He has a driver, has a car. The doctor has his house, has his car, has everything. He just needed a lady. And God is saying it is this pastor that has no bank account, that has no office, that is squatting. But because I had light, I knew this was what God was saying. And please, before you settle for poor man or woman, it doesn't work like that for everybody. There are some people that their cases will be like God taking roots to Boaz. That God will take you to already made men or already made women. It's not every time that God will say you should go and start from the scratch. I'm just telling you my own story. Know God for yourself. You will know how God is leading you. But that was how God was leading me. And I chose to follow that path. I could remember my best lady telling me, because she comes to the house well. That, so of all decisions to make, now. And I know she was talking to me out of the passion of knowing the reality at home. Many times, she dashes me clothes. Myself and her younger sister uses the same size. So when she travels, she brings fairly used clothes for me. Sometimes she's the one that adds food items to me. So she has a right to talk sense to me. However, I knew what God was saying. And I chose to follow what God was saying. Some years down the line, things changed. And here we are today to the glory of God. Sincerely, in all humility, I don't have a need. There is nothing I'm trusting God for that God has not given me personally or given me through my husband. Secondly, one of the people that I would have opted for that looked like it then, some years back reached out to me. The job is lost. The baby is sick in the hospital, needed surgery. and he needed to borrow money from me. I had to dash him. That no, I can't borrow you money. Why? If I had picked him because of the wealth then, it is me and him that will be borrowing money. Because I would have been in the shoe of the other lady as his wife. So I will not be the benefactor, I will be the borrower. So God that knew the end from the beginning saw what will happen in the future and led me in the right direction. But how did God lead me? Because I know God. Do you know God? Do you know God? See, once you miss it in relationship, 70% of your life is gone. And the reason is because your relationship will affect every other aspect of your life. If you are not happy from home, if you are stressed, if you are disturbed, it will affect your health, it will affect your thinking. And if your health and thinking is affected, when you get to work, it will affect your productivity. When your productivity is affected, it's either you are not getting promoted or you get sacked. Then when all those things happen, sickness is around the corner because you think and think BP comes. And once BP comes, stroke is just the next door neighbor to BP. So your relationship is not something to toy with. You need God. You might know the present, but God knows the future. And you need to partner with that God. Every eye closed, every head bowed, everybody on their feet. You want to partner with everybody on their feet, please. Every eye closed, every head bowed. You want to partner with Jesus. Please place your hand on your chest. You know that you cannot live life alone. You know that you cannot do things by yourself. You know that you cannot choose right based on what you see now because it's only God that knows tomorrow. And you want that God that knows tomorrow to help you in the journey of life and relationship so that you will have testimonies to share regarding your relationship. Place your hand on your chest. God bless you. I can see those hands. God bless you. I can see those hands. Please, you can still join them. It's a decision I made that I did not regret. It's a decision that I made that I did not regret. You need Jesus. Forget about your neighbor. See, one of the most challenging relationships a human being can be in life is an emotional relationship challenge. If you don't have money, your friend can borrow you money. Even your parents can borrow you money. If you miss it relationally, even your mother will not borrow you her husband. Your friend will not borrow you her husband. So you need to make the right decision. Don't let anybody standing beside you deceive you. If I put my hand on my chest, what will this person think? To hell with what they think. This is your future we are talking about. You are making a decision for Jesus. Put your hand on your chest. You are making a decision for Jesus. Put your hand on your chest. You are making a decision for Jesus. Put your hand on your chest. Say with me, Lord Jesus, I confess that you are the Son of God. I believe in my heart that God raised you from the dead on the third day. Therefore, right now, I am saved. My sins are forgiven. All things are passed away. And for me, all things are become new. As I partner with Jesus, I enjoy divine direction in my relationship choice. I will not miss it and I will not mix things up. The journey of my relationship will be accurate in the name of Jesus. And I will have the stories of victory to share regarding my relationship in the name of Jesus. Thank you, Lord, for saving me in Jesus' name.